Hi, everyone, and welcome to Real with Raya, the podcast that celebrates self development and learning. Today, I'm Mariah. I'm so excited. I'm like already getting into I'm like
I'm
getting into
hollering.
my guest, but today I have a personal fave, someone I literally liked her before I even like met her in real
Oh my
life.
god, same
Yeah, I liked you before I knew you,
actually.
and I'm just super excited. YT, also known as YT Father Action.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's me.
Is a multi-genre artist known for her catchy hooks, distinctive vocals, and punchy lyrics. Her first EP, Sage Mode, was positively received and received recognition from publications such as Native Mag. Her second EP, It's Not Me, It's You, was a memoir of her navigating life through music. Her third EP, Love and Vex, which is my personal favorite, has been on rotation since release and has
Love.
accumulated 47K plus listens on Spotify with a TikTok trending sound from Cool Story Bro.
Yeah.
As a person, and you can tell, her energy and style is captivating. I love her intelligence and self awareness. YT is creative, unapologetic, confident, and free spirited.
I didn't know this was happening. This description. Oh my god.
I'm so happy to talk to her today. What's up,
Literally, I'm so
YT?
touched by that description. Literally, I did not know that was happening. So thank you so
Aww.
much for that. Yes, I'm so happy to be here. And it's so funny. You say you liked me before you met me. I
Yeah.
asked you. Obviously, I don't know if Ajibola told you, but like, I literally was like, this babe is so real. Like, I love that your friend Arayo. Like, I don't even know
Aww.
if she knows that I know her. Like, if she knows me, I don't even know. But I was just like, every time she would post your YouTube links, and I'll be like, this baby is too real. Like, so I'm glad that you named your podcast Real with Ryo because it's like real. She's real.
Aww, period. I love
She's a
that.
real one. Yeah, I had to come on here for
Thank
my
you for
girl.
coming on
Like,
because YT is booked and busy. And I know if I don't catch her now, it's going to get even harder to catch her within the next couple of weeks. So we literally had to lock in today. And first of all, I actually want to publicly congratulate you. I know I sent you a message earlier on, but I want to tell you congratulations for just
Thank
being
you so
consistent with
much.
music.
Thank
And
you so much.
Cool Story Bro is the streets love it.
Thank you. I'm
Like
glad. Thank you,
how
man.
how do you feel though? Are you like happy with life
I'm
right
very
now?
happy. I'm very happy. It's crazy. Like I always say like everybody only sees the finished products and like what comes out, but like a lot went through this. Like I went through a transformation
Mm.
basically before I dropped this, and like it's just crazy to see that my hard work was not in vain. I'm just very happy that because I didn't have any expectation. Every time I drop, I don't know what's about to happen. Like every time I drop, anything can happen. So I literally was just like, you know what, God, I'm about to drop it. I commit it onto your hands. Once I drop this thing, like just do whatever you want to do. I'm okay. Like I'm not attached to
Mm.
whatever happens, but I'm grateful and I'm proud of what I've done. So that's all that matters. So like seeing this response obviously has been a very pleasant surprise, and like I'm elated. I'm over the moon, and
Aw.
it's crazy because obviously first off like everything started off with me being dragged on Twitter, and like they were trolling me. I mean,
We're
it
gonna
was
get
like
into
it was
that.
like half it was like half trolling,
Praise.
half praise. So it was like really weird. Um, but as soon as that happened, I knew I was like, this is gonna take off for me because
Yeah.
this is every time there's a new girl that comes in,
Yes.
there's always hate. There's always a hate train in the beginning. So I was like, okay, that means that I'm about to take
Pop
off.
off.
Like,
And that's why in your intro I spoke about your intelligence and self awareness. Just from the little I know about you and even watching other interviews that you've done, I can tell you're someone that's actually like studied the game and pays
yeah,
attention to just
hundred
how the
percent,
culture works.
hundred
So I'm
percent.
glad that you noticed that with that praise and
Yeah.
that criticism, like something big was about to happen because literally there's always a pattern, and if you pay attention
Yeah.
you start to see the
Because
pattern.
honestly, there's no such thing as bad press. Like, at first, one of the major things I was actually afraid of, because it's not like I didn't start music with the goal of like, I want to blow, I want to, like, I just did it because I genuinely just love music, and it's something that I found as a hobby, and it's something that I actually really, I just feel like it's my purpose. But I didn't think, oh, I want to blow, I want to be. So I wasn't like, attached to that idea of like
Yeah.
wanting to blow. But one of the major things I was afraid of was like, I just feel like not like I'm afraid. I don't really care what people think about me, but I hate having to explain myself. I don't feel the need to
Mm.
explain myself to anybody, and
Mm-hmm.
I just obviously I'm naturally defensive over myself. So like naturally I would want to explain. But when that thing happened on Twitter, I was like, the worst has happened. Like, this is what I was afraid of, and now it has happened, and I'm okay. Like, surprisingly, I don't really care that much as I thought I would when something like this, because I knew it's inevitable. You're gonna go viral for something, and they're gonna drag you when you are putting yourself out there.
Yeah.
So I was just like, wait, what was I saying? I lost my train of thought.
About how like you handle the dragging.
Oh yeah. So like when it happened, I was like, oh, this is it. Like, so this is it. So all I can do is just literally mute it. I literally muted it after I got like, after the first like 100 people, I muted it and I didn't look at it again. So and it literally did not exist to me because it was just on the internet. They were just like, the internet is actually just the internet. I know that we're very consumed on like social media and stuff like that, but you can actually just turn off your phone and none of this shit exists. So like, it's not real. So I literally just did exactly that. But yeah,
I love that. I want to go back to you as a child, because just even of what you've said, you seem to have a level of like just confidence and just like security in yourself.
Yeah.
What was, say, like 10-year-old YT like? How were you
10-year-old YT? I think one thing I would say about myself, I think I've always been very consistent. Like, and I like that about myself sometimes. When I look back at old videos from like 2015 or whatever, and I'm saying the same things as I'm still saying today. Like, it's nice. And I think I'm pretty much just a more evolved, matured, and self-assured version of my 10-year-old self. But I've always been like this. I've just always had I've just always known who I was. Like, and yeah, so 10-year-old YT was very creative, very expressive, very bold, very audacious, very intelligent. I was in, what did they call it in the UK? I was in JSS2, which is year 8.
Yeah.
I don't want to say the school, but I was in JSS2 and I was really young, I was like, I started JSS1, which is year 7 at 9 years old. Like, so I was 10 in JSS2. And
why did you start early?
Because my parents, bro, it was actually, back, I don't know if your parents like did this, but back in our parents' generation, they used to skip primary 6.
I've heard that, but I don't know if my parents actually did
or didn't.
Yeah.
Apparently, like, if you skip primary 6, that means that like you're really smart, and like if you do primary 6, then that means you're dumb. And that was the thing for them in their day. Obviously, that's not the case like at all. So, but obviously no, let me not say they, but my dad specifically had that like mindset of, okay, she can't do primary 6. But obviously after me, my brothers did primary 6 because they stopped that P after me. Because what? How can I be 9 in secondary school?
Yeah.
Like, why are you kidding me?
9, you're a baby.
Yeah, I was literally an infant. But I think it really, really like contributes to how I turned out. So I don't regret it. But like, it was crazy. Like, there's no reason why a 9-year-old should be in that kind of environment. But yeah, me being 10, like, yeah, I was basically like how I am now, very outspoken. I just always knew what I was doing. I kind of.
What were your family dynamics like?
Like my relationship with my parents and my siblings. Yeah. So I have 5 siblings.
Oh wow! I actually didn't know that.
Yeah, I have 5 siblings. I love all of them. I feel like we're all very different. It's very interesting. I'm definitely the more. I'm the one that my siblings are very like. I won't say low key. That's the word. Because I mean, I won't say that. I would say I'm low key. So I don't even know what the word I'm looking for is. Reserved, I think. Yeah. Reserved. They're a bit more reserved, and I'm a bit more like out there. Like, do you get what I mean? But like, we're very close. Like, I love my siblings. I love my parents. Like, my family is a huge. Family is like the most important thing to me. Also my cousins as well. They play a huge role in like just me being who I am today, and like, yeah, my parents also played a huge role. Of course, like they had the biggest impact in my life. My parents, they always instilled in me, especially my dad. He always said that it was very important for his children to be able to express themselves. Like, so that is always something that he's instilled. It's like we have to just express ourselves and always say what's on our mind. It was just very important for him that was what we we did. So yeah, so I just grew up just never having, I never felt the need to suppress myself or like subdue anything. Everything I felt the need to do, I would do. Obviously within reason. Like not like I didn't like go around harming people, obviously. Like you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
without harm, like harmlessly. But yeah, I would do whatever I wanted, basically. I would say whatever I wanted. But I was always like a rule follower as well. Like I never broke the rules, but that's because I never felt the need to. Not because like if I felt the need to, I probably would have. But
Yeah.
I just never felt the need to break any rules. I just like doing my own thing. You know what I mean? Like yeah.
How do they feel about YT now?
To them, I've always like they've always known me to be like this. I think just the rest
Just
of the world is
catching
catching on exactly. So it's like, they're just like, yeah, it's just the same me. They're very proud of me, of course. My parents are very supportive. They support anything I do. That's one thing about them, especially my dad. Like they support everything I do. Like every venture I try. Everything I do, they always support, and like I think that that's very important. Honestly, like they really tried in that department, just being there for me.
Yeah. I think that's so important because even in an episode I had with the previous guest, Mo, we were talking about just how like confidence and how we kind of underestimate the impact that your parents actually play into your personal confidence. Because I feel like I'm confident because my mom always told me I was so amazing. Like I was so great.
No,
my friends tell me I'm so amazing. Why wouldn't I think I'm amazing? Like why wouldn't I think I'm amazing? You know?
Fact.
And I think it's just like it's really unfortunate that sometimes people are not lucky enough to
have that.
experience that. But I do think where you can like switch that is just pay attention to the people around you and make sure that the people around you are actually like your community and are uplifting you because you would be surprised about how that plays into your self-esteem.
Trust me. Yeah. The company that you keep, I don't even have the words to explain how much. Because especially someone like me, for example, I grew up obviously in the Nigerian society. Everyone is very stuck on like dogmatic principles of like you have to go to school and go to work in the bank or whatever the case may be, and anybody that strays out of that you're othered, like like it's an anomaly. And it seems outlandish to say, oh, I want to go and do music. Like you want to go and do music, look at everybody going to go and go to the bank. You want to go and do music, are you okay? But you need to think big, and the only way you can think big is if you surround yourself with people that also think big. Like there's people that definitely do not think that like my music will be anything or anything. I mean, obviously I've been met with like mostly support, but the support really came obviously after like when I first debuted and everything like started looking good and everything. But before I dropped anything for the first time, I remember I sent it to one. I didn't even want to. Okay, whatever. I sent it to somebody, and they were like, I didn't really like their response. Like I was just like, what is this response? The people's excitement towards your stuff can really make or break. And it's certain people that I really, really held very dear to my heart at the time, and like their lackluster response was just like that could have literally been the factor
vibe,
that would have made me not drop music. But like I feel like now I only surround myself with people that I believe in and they believe in me, and we all believe in each other, and like we just all see the bigger picture. And I think that that's so important. Like just being surrounded by people that champion you is so important for your like self-esteem. And like you said, it's a shame that some people don't have that, and it's actually a privilege to have a support system and a community of people who genuinely just want to see you win.
Yeah, and believe in you. I was having a conversation with a friend about like personal identity and what influences your personal identity. So she is a Nigerian woman like us, and she was saying how with her she identifies as being Nigerian before she identifies as like being black, for example. And then this is like a conversation that I've now been asking a lot of people around me. So like, what do you sort of like lead with? And for me, I was thinking about it, and I felt like I lead with my womanhood first. And I had to really think about it because I was like, that's interesting. And then I started to break it down, and I was like, maybe it's because my parents are Nigerian, but they're also just not like super, super traditional. My mom is also half Jamaican, half Nigerian. Okay. So I feel like it would probably be like my womanhood, the Nigerian, and then kind of like being black, because for the most part in Nigeria growing up, I did like primary school in Nigeria even though I was born here.
Yeah.
You never really have to think about like being black. You're kind of like you're Nigerian.
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
who you are and like where you're coming from, right? So I don't know. I just thought it was like super interesting. So I want to know.
Where do you think you lead with your womanhood? Like, why woman?
I feel like
that's a new one.
Yeah, I think for me as like a Rayo, and again, this is like my personal stance. The way I look at the world and also the qualities I like value in people, I think are traits that traditionally associated with like womanhood and femininity. So for me, it's like when I meet someone, I don't care what you studied at uni. Are you empathetic? Are you curious? Do you have like care for other people? Do you actually have like a cause you believe in? Like creativity is something that I'm naturally drawn to. So I think for me, I express myself in that way, and naturally those are the traits that I'm drawn with other people. So I think that's kind of like how I see the world, because I was speaking to one of my friends as well, and like she's like, we're very different but we're very close. She's more like super academic, like has her degree, her undergrad, has her master's, like one's a PhD, just like you know, very driven in that sense. And I would say I'm driven too, but not in that sense. For me, it's more like, let's be creative, let's do more, like, do you know what I mean? So I think for me, that's kind of like how I lead. So what do you think?
For me, I think my personal identity, when I think about myself, I just think of myself as like an entity who's like experiencing life. I feel like I see myself as like an observer in my life. My life is mine, but it's like an experience that I'm watching, if that makes sense. Like I'm not, like I said earlier, like I'm not attaching to anything. I don't attach to anything that happens in my life. I'm just experiencing it, and it like flows through me, and it happens like a wave, you know. But in terms of like, if I see myself as, you know, black, Nigerian, I think if somebody were to ask me, the first thing I would think of is like, if we're talking like application, like I would think of myself as Nigerian before black. And then but I don't see myself as just like Nigerian, because obviously the intersectionality of being a Nigerian woman as opposed to just being a Nigerian is like, it plays a huge role in your identity. Like a Nigerian woman's experience is not the same as a Nigerian man. So like, I think of myself as a Nigerian woman. Like that is just how I think of myself. But in terms of like labels and stuff like that, I don't classify myself under any category. Like, I am capable of anything I want to do, and like I don't attach to anything I'm doing. Like right now, this phase of my life, I'm doing music. The next phase is going to be something else. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm even like my identity being an artist. Like yes, I'm an artist, but I'm like what did Shaka Khan say? I'm every woman. You know what I mean? Like I just feel like I'm everything and all at once. Like that, like the movie title. I literally everything all at once. And I mean that in like the least condescending way possible. But I just feel everything, you know. I'm very like I just feel like I'm an observer in life, if that makes sense. Okay,
I'm gonna say something. I know like the astrology hate train is about to start from now, but I know you're a Scorpio. I'm an Aries. You're very passionate. I like that. I'm passionate.
I love me some Aries.
Oh really?
I love Aries, Taurus, Capricorn, Leo.
I'm Capricorn rising.
Ooh, that's why I really, you know, I really like you. That's why
I like you too.
Like, and it makes sense. Like Capricorn rising, like that's such a perfect.
Pisces moon though, so that water.
I'm a water sign. Like I have 2 water in my chart.
What's your
Scorpio sun, Cancer rising, Libra moon.
Ooh, I love that.
Yeah, very weird. When I found out I was a Libra moon, I was like, Libra. I don't know anything about Libras.
Aries and Libras are sister signs.
Oh yeah, I know that. But now like I know a bit more about Libras, and I like being a Libra moon. I think that balances me. It really, really does. It keeps me grounded. Like because I feel like Scorpios were quite polarizing. So having that Libra moon is just like, you know, just to keep me in check.
And the reason I actually brought up astrology is because I think one thing we have in common is we've used astrology to help us in our self-development journey, because a lot of people sometimes, you know, they just dismiss it because they think, well, it's evil, or like it doesn't make sense, or, you know, personal opinions. But for me, that has actually really helped me understand myself. Like when I found out that I had a water moon, because for a long time I actually used to feel like, was something wrong with me? Because I was like, I'm fire, but I'm so emotional. Like, what if I know genuinely?
No, I kind of Pisces moon. I'm so sorry, girl.
I'm going through it.
I'm so sorry.
And I used to wonder. I was like genuinely though, like, what is wrong with me? And then I started to read my chart and I started to understand. And I was like, oh my god. So it also helps me understand other people.
Yeah,
and the reason why I brought it up is I want to know if that has played any part in like your self-awareness journey as well. Like,
I literally always say people that don't like astrology, or they not even necessarily don't like it, because obviously it might not be for you, but people that are dismissive of it usually almost go and check, like literally check, they almost 100% always lack self-awareness. Like I've never seen anybody that hates astrology that is like the most aware person. It makes sense that you don't, so I don't, you know what I mean, like I don't want to hear what you have to say, but like in terms of my life, literally I'm open to all types of knowledge. That's the thing. And astrology is just one aspect of knowledge, you know what I mean? And I feel like people that be dismissive of any kind of knowledge is just ignorance.
That is literally what I always tell people.
It's literally ignorance. Like I am open to anything, literally anything that I feel like nourishes my soul, anything I feel that enhances my thinking in any way, like I'm open to it. And I feel like if something has proven to be accurate, why would I dismiss it? For example, when I looked at my birth chart and I started seeing all these things, and also it wasn't like when I first started believing in astrology, I was like, oh, astrology, like it like proved itself to me over time. Like it wasn't like immediate. Obviously I was first introduced to astrology with like, you never read all these magazines?
Same, that's how
girl
I was.
Talk. You know, the girl talk and shouts, oh my god, those magazines,
of course. And then they'll have like daily horoscopes or monthly horoscopes.
And I used to read them, but I knew I was a Scorpio. I knew that Scorpios had a reputation of being like, you know, like hostile or whatever. I don't know what they say, but like that's all I knew. It was very surface level. But what happened? What was I saying? I keep losing. I always lose my train of thought. That's one thing about me, because I ramble a lot, and I also have so many things at once that come to my brain. So I'm always losing my train of thought.
No, it's okay. I'll remind you. Okay, we were talking about how that played into like your self-awareness.
Okay, so when I started reading about my birth charts and I started just like understanding how everything aligns, and even just looking at other people's birth charts, like you said, like it really, really helped me navigate my relationships with people, and it really helps me just know, like, I don't know, it just gives me a more insight. And if I read something and it resonates with everything I'm thinking, of course I'm going to be like, yeah, you know, you're right. And it was like I said, over time, the more I just started seeing it be like accurate, even when I read the horoscopes as well sometimes, and they're like, oh, I don't know if you ever see those things on Twitter where they're like, oh, Pisces, Scorpio, today you're gonna so whenever I see those things, I'm like, but then it will not happen. I'm like, okay. Wow. So that was set for me, you know, like and I just feel like not even just astrology, but just my general just spirituality. Like I'm a Christian, like I believe in God, but not in the traditional Christian sense. Like I don't go to church, but I read my Bible and I pray every day. Like I'm very into God. Like that's my bestie. I'm also very spiritual. Like I'm very when like you've accepted yourself, I feel like the universe moves with you. Like you're aligned with the earth. Like you're aligned with the world because you have accepted yourself and you have accepted the oneness with nature and like with the universe. And so literally everything is moving for you. Like the world is literally shifting for you because you've accepted that you are like are one with the world, if that makes sense. I believe that, like, you know, obviously the earth is made out of the same things that we are made out of, you know, like everything's intertwined. Like every being of nature is all intertwined. Like when people say they don't believe in astrology, you know, we're made up of 75% water. Yeah. And the way that the tides work, right? The waves and in the ocean, the way that they work, they respond to like energy, the gravitational energy from the moon. So if you believe that the waves are responding to the moon, but we are not, girl,
I don't know what to tell you.
Coming, like, so yeah, astrology is real, whether you like it or not. But yeah, it's definitely helped me a lot. And like I low key, like I always say this, I love the stereotypes of Scorpios, except the one that were liars, because I don't think that's true. I don't think
Scorpios are very loyal though. Like,
Yeah.
I really like Scorpios, and I feel like what I like about Scorpios is like what you see is pretty much like what you get. Like when you get to know them,
Yeah, when you
it's
get
like
to know them.
it takes a while to like
Yeah,
break that
yeah.
barrier, but when you're there, it's kind of like okay, you know, you're locked in. They're not like super wishy washy.
Yeah.
Because for me, I just can't do wishy
No,
washy.
yeah. Scorpios are like, well, I and every Scorpio I've actually interacted with, even despite like their shortcomings, the one thing I would say is that they're very loyal. Like Scorpios, I would say, like, yeah, we're quite loyal. And also the thing about us is I think we're just very protective of our space and of our energy, that we just would rather, you know that you're a down bitch. Like, if you know that you're down, you're here for the long run, we would move the earth for you. Like, that's literally how we are. Like, I'm very protective. I'm very loyal to my friends and my family. And, like, I love everyone in my life. Like, and I'll do anything for them. And that's because, like, we've gone through a lot together, and they've proven their loyalty to me, and, like, I've proven my loyalty to them. And, you know, it's important to be have reliable people around, and it's important to show that you are reliable as well, because I feel like as we're getting older, that's the only requirement I ask of anyone in my life: reliability. I just want to know that I can count on you for anything, and that's basically it. But yeah.
I absolutely love that. I want to circle back to music.
Okay.
And what you were doing before you started like making music. What was YT like? Where was your head at before you started making music?
Girl, before I started making music, I was lost. Like, music has really given me a sense of purpose, because I really was just floating, like, just not. I was in uni, and then the pandemic happened. But when I was in uni, I just felt so purposeless. Like, obviously, like, you know, you can't go wrong with having a degree, and having, like, it's nice to have a degree, but I just didn't knew that was just not what I wanted to do. But then obviously now, like, I have my master's in AI, and that's what I want to do now. But I also want to do music. But before I found music, I just was a mess. Like, I was actually a mess, and I spent like 6 years from 2014 to 2020. I was atheist. Like,
oh wow,
yeah, I grew up Catholic. But then I denounced the church. I was like, fuck, oh my god. But then in 2014, so I started learning more and more about philosophy and like other religions. So my Catholicism up until 2014, how old was I? I was 15. Up until that point, I was very like, you know how they indoctrinate you into Christianity when you're born into your family. So that was literally all I knew was that I knew all the prayers, Hail Mary, Our Father, every prayer in the Catholic Church. But I don't know anything about God. I don't know anything about like how I felt about God. Like, all I knew was that there's a guy that we have to pray to, and these are the prayers that I have to pray. So when I started learning more about religion, like other religions, and you know, in religious studies, I don't know if you did it RS GCSE.
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay. Well, in RS GCSE, that was the first time they really explored like other people's interpretation of the word of God, or like the Bible, and like, oh, these are some of the questions that some Christians today might have, or these are some of the questions that some non-believers might have. And when they start asking the questions, they'll be like, oh, how do you know that this da 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 da? How do you know that God? I started asking myself, like, I know this is just schoolwork, like I'm supposed to just write the questions that they might ask, but really and truly, how do they know that God is actually here?
Yeah.
Like, it really, really got me thinking, and I was just, for the next 6 years, I was like a mess. It was a mess. I think also having belief and faith in God really gives you so much less to worry about, because like you literally put all your worries into God. Because the way I worried for 6 years straight, like now I don't worry about anything again. Like anything that wants to happen, let it happen. But like before, I used to worry every day, all day, 24/7.
Because then you think the power is all yours.
Yeah, it's all. Yeah.
So you feel like, oh my god, if I don't sort this out right now,
literally.
Yeah.
So I was just always constantly worrying. I never knew what was going on in my life. I was just literally every day was just vibes. Like, I mean, I was doing my work and I was in school, but man, I just did not have any. I didn't feel it. You know, I didn't feel alive.
Yeah.
Now I feel alive.
That's really good.
But
so would you say like music gave you that purpose?
100%. Like I've always been a music head. I've always been a music connoisseur, but I feel like finding music in the way that like I make my own music has really just everything just makes sense. Like nothing has ever made sense like this before. You know, I've tried many things in my life. Like there's so many things I've tried. I'm more afraid to try a lot of things, and this is the one. Like I do makeup, but not professionally. But like I had a whole makeup page and everything. Like but I didn't. I knew that I wanted to do makeup for myself, but I knew I didn't want to be like a makeup artist, you know. But when I found music, I was like, yeah, this is what I want to do. Like even if it's just a hobby for the rest of my life. But yeah.
So would you say you just had like an intuitive feeling when you started making music that this was going to be what you're going to be doing for like the next couple of years?
I had no idea that I was gonna keep doing it. I just knew that. I think one thing about me, I don't think about the future. I don't think about the past either. Like I just literally just exist every day. Like I don't think. I obviously when I say I don't think about the future, it doesn't mean like I don't plan myself. But it just means that I just don't. I don't fixate on like what's gonna happen. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like if you plan too much, like it's good to plan. No, obviously, fail to plan, plan to fail. But you can't plan everything. And so like yeah, I really did not know what was gonna happen. I just knew that I was happy doing it. That's basically. I just knew that I was happy making music, but I did not know what was going to come out of it, and I was okay with that. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think you're an intuitive person?
Yes, I do because I feel like I spend a lot of time by myself. I obviously when I was growing up, like as a teenager, I used to party a lot and stuff like that, and. But like now I just spend most of my time by myself, and I just spend a lot of time thinking. I'm very introspective, and I feel like when you're introspective, because you spend a lot of inner, like a lot of time focusing on your inward self, you can notice that in other people. So like, yeah, I think I would say that I'm intuitive. Yeah. My intuition guides me a lot. So yeah.
That was my next question. When it comes to like music, what makes those decisions for you in terms of like, because one thing I will say about you just listening to your music is you definitely have an ear for production, and I don't know, I feel like there's some element of like free spiritedness, but also it's still you. Even when you're trying like new sounds, it's still you. So I want to know, like, do you just lead with your gut when it comes to what you decide to put out?
I feel like so when it comes to, I don't like. In my life, I like structure, but in society, I don't like structure, and I've always hated the fact that like there's protocol in like so many different aspects of life. For example, in the corporate world, you have to present yourself a certain way. You have to look a certain way. You have to in an interview. You can't do this. You can't do this in the interview. If not, they'll say that. Like you know what I mean. I've always hated the fact that in order to progress in life, you can't just be yourself. Like you have to present. And I just always said to myself, you know, if there's one thing in this life, you know, if I wanted to package myself in a certain way or whatever, then I'll do it for every other industry, except my music is the one thing in this world that like there are no rules, there's nothing holding me back, there's no restrictions. Like I'm not listening to what anybody has to say. You know, I spend my whole life like just hearing here and there. Like I don't want to hear it. When it comes to music, I don't want to hear it. I just want to be me, and I want to exist, and I want to be free. And I think it helps that I grew up in a very like musical household, and like I've always just had a good ear for music. I've always been the person that makes playlists for people, and like so I just always know what sounds good. You know, that's even how like when they were trolling me, like you people don't know anything. Like, you guys don't actually
but they'll catch
know
on
anything. Oh my god, I'm just like when people talk shit, I'm like, you do not know anything. Like just shut up. So yeah, I feel like. Also, yeah, my intuition as well just guides me. And I think the combination of everything, just me having like a good ear for music and me knowing what kind of vibes I'm trying to give off, all of that just comes together to create like whatever you guys are hearing.
Yeah. I love that. And also when you were talking about how structures in society and how you made a decision about you just choosing to not be limited when it comes to your music. I could relate because that's how I feel about this podcast. Like, this is my creative expression. I have a 9 to 5. I get told every day what to do. Don't tell me what to do here. Like unless I ask you, like if it's not constructive,
Yeah,
don't want to hear it.
literally, like
I want to do it at my own pace, how I want to do
Literally.
it. I don't want to do it like this other person.
there's nothing I hate more than when people give me advice on my music. Like, stop. Like, even my friends, like anybody in my life, I hate that shit. Like, don't tell me what to do unless I literally play you the song and I'm like, okay, what do you think?
Yeah.
Other than that, and even at that, I've stopped doing that. I don't send people my songs.
Oh, for real?
No.
So we all see,
Like,
so
literally
there's no
everybody
favoritism.
heard it for the first time. My
Oh,
EP, like
really?
no one heard my EP.
But
Maybe
you-
except the engineer and like
Yeah.
the people that worked on it with me. But like everybody else, nobody heard it. Like,
But you know what's interesting about that? I feel like that's also a form of like trusting yourself, because I remember when I still post, obviously this podcast is on YouTube, but when I used to do like other types of videos on YouTube, and there was a period in time where like I always I would send it to like 5 people, like, oh my god, tell me what you think. And then after a while I just stopped doing that, because I was
Yeah.
like, it's not about what
it's
they
not about
think.
what they think, it's about what I think. And that's one thing that's literally what I had to tell myself. I was like, I like it. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
And like I can't keep being fixated on what people like, because people don't even know what they like for half of the time.
Word.
And two, like how do they even know what I'm going for? You know,
Right.
I can never forget one time when I first dropped Sage Mode. Before I dropped it, I sent it to one guy who like I really valued. He might even listen to this, I don't know, but I really valued his like taste in music, and so I sent it to him, and he was like, oh, that Sage Mode. He likes the song, but it's too long. I was like, how can you tell me how long this my song? You don't know how long I wanted it to be. So why are you telling me that it's too long? Like, so I just don't send people my music again. Like, I remember one time my friend was there when I was recording in the studio, and she was like, oh, that do the ad-lib in this part. I'm like, girl, you don't even know how. You don't even know the process. Like, relax. So now I'm just like, yeah, like literally, I don't like. It's my baby, you know. Like I can't. I'm very protective over it. So
I think that comes with being a creative as well. It's like that's also why we kind of like get defensive.
Yeah.
About it. It's just like what you
Literally,
trying
what
to
you
say?
saying? Like that's literally it.
I totally get that. But what makes you consistent? Because you literally dropped Sage Mode in 2021. Yeah. And you have 3 EPs. Real like artists that have been in the game for longer might not even necessarily have that type of work ethic. And the thing is, I say work ethic because even this, like, obviously I keep referencing like my podcast and YouTube, but that's my experience in like doing things.
Baby.
You would be surprised as to how much actually goes behind it. Talk less about music, where it's like, oh my god, the mixing, mastering, you know, your engineers, and also I want to touch on like how resourceful you are. You do like your cover art as well. Like I know for Love and Vex, you did your track list as well. So it's like, how do you keep that motivation going? Because you're building a fan base as well, so you kind of like have to give the people what they want.
It's not easy, I can't lie, because especially in the beginning, I feel like now it'll be easier for me now because I feel like my fan base is increasing, so I have more people to like serve, if that makes sense. But in the beginning, like especially before this EP dropped, like I had to really, you know, pull myself. Like there's a lot. Don't get me wrong, like I come across as very confident, and I am confident, but there's a lot of self-doubt. You have to really keep talking to yourself. You have to really, really like pull yourself out of like a lot of. You can't let yourself sink in any thoughts. Like you have to really just reel yourself back out. If you allow yourself to feel the emotions, let it happen, but don't sit in it. Exactly. But sorry, what was your question?
How do you stay motivated?
Oh yeah. So how do I stay motivated? So yeah, I think another thing is when I make music, like I don't have any way that it's supposed to sound. I just let it happen. Like I let it happen, and it's a surprise to myself as well, you know, because I don't even know what I'm about to say half of the time. At the end of the when I finish saying whatever I'm saying, I look back and I'm like, oh wait, I like this song, like, you know. And it's just more of I don't put any pressure on myself to do anything. Like me being consistent, you guys see it as consistency, but I just see it as me just doing my thing. You know what I mean? Like I don't have a time frame. Like I'm not like I don't have a schedule. And if I don't feel like dropping for 2 years, I won't drop. Do you get like? But I will, you know, because I like music. But like, you know what I mean? Like it's nothing is by force. So, but that's what I keep having to remind myself. Like none of this is by force. So just don't force yourself to do anything. If you're not in the mood, don't do it. Do you know what I mean? Like that's just how I stay motivated. And I really I really just like to stay out of the way. Like I really stay to myself a lot, and I don't like to hear outside opinions. Like I just like to be in my little bubble, and that's just the best way. In my own reality, only I exist, and my loved ones, and like the people who directly impact my life. Everything else is just noise. Like everything else is just in the background. That doesn't matter. So yeah.
Does it still feel like a hobby to you though? Like
I feel like now it definitely feels like a job. Like it's a hobby still, but it's not. It's a hobby, but it's a job now.
What
Like,
parts of it makes you feel like it is a job as well now?
I mean, getting paid, like so, like yeah.
What else though?
That and then two, I feel like it doesn't feel like a job because it's fun, but like I think I have obligations now. I have to show up at places now. Like I have to perform. Like I don't like going out, but I have to perform. You know, and I actually before my last performance, I saw this TikTok. You know how TikTok is like for you, like so there's this dilemma I was having of, you know, I've recently accepted my introvertedness. Like I've always been like an introverted extrovert.
Yeah.
Like I've always been someone that was internally introverted, but I still used to go out because that was what the thing was when you're growing up. But like now I've accepted the fact that I don't like going out.
Yeah.
So, but then I was like, this life that I'm choosing, like, do I have to, like, do I say no to performances, or like, do I actually just do it, or like what do I do?
Yeah.
But then I was not scrolling on TikTok the morning of my performance, and I saw this lady say that, oh, like, you know, artists are some of the most they live life to the tune of the beat of their own drum, and like they're very introverted, and a lot of artists do not like to actually like be outside and stuff like that. And then you now have like, so there's entertainers and then there's artists, and then there's the combination of both, which is a superstar. And if you want to be a superstar, you have to be able to put aside whatever feelings you have and put on your superstar hat and go out there and just perform for them. But like, yeah, so it's just a lot of like, I have to really just remind myself, like, you've given your music out there now, and as much as it's your music, people now wait for me. They like your music, and you are impacting their lives in some way, and so now you owe it to them to show up. So yeah, that's basically the job part, but it's not even a job. Like it feels like a job, but it's a fun job. It's like, it's nice. Obviously I don't mind doing it, but yeah.
How would you describe your sound?
Definitely experimental for sure. Like I don't limit myself because I listen to every kind of music I listen to. So I feel like my sound is a combination of everything I listen to, and like my sporadic and like all over the place upbringing. You know, I feel like my sound is just a combination of my everything, my life, like my being, my entity. Like that's literally, it's been, you know, packaged into this sound that is just YT. Like that's just me. I literally don't know how to describe it. It's definitely inspired by hip hop. Like it's hip hop for sure. Like, but it's like, have you heard of plug and B?
No.
Okay, plug and B is like a subgenre of hip hop, and it's like, it's kind of what I do, kind of, right. But not really, because I also do other things. So but I feel like the center point of what I do is plug and B, and plug and B is kind of like this electronic, a lot of autotune. I like autotune. People like to say that autotune, but me, I love autotune. I don't care. Like I like the electronic sound of autotune, and it's like I like my voice without autotune, but I also really just like autotune. So it's plug and B is a very autotune type of sound, like electronic R&B, rap kind of thing. I'm trying to think of an artist.
I was just about to ask
you.
Yeah,
do you know SSG Kobe? You probably don't know him.
No.
But you check them out after Asha. SSG Kobe is a plug and B guy. Boof Pack Monkey is another. It's an underground genre.
Right.
Yeah. Boof Pack Monkey is a plug and B guy. Summers, Autumn, those are all plug and B guys. But like I wouldn't say I do plug and B, but that's mainly like where I get my inspiration from. And like people like Star Baby, Ken Carson, it's just like a mixture of all of those people. And then obviously I'm Nigerian as well, so like I have to put my Nigerianness in the things I listen to as well. So it's like Yeah, I don't know. I think it's just a combination of everything. I really don't know how to describe it. Experimental.
Fair enough, though. I mean,
Yeah.
because to be fair, like you said, it is experimental. So
Yeah.
with experiments, you kind of like have to keep on going until you can
Is this
pencil.
fine? Is this like?
Yeah,
I have
that's
to-
no,
Okay.
that's fine. You can kind of like keep going until you can pencil it down, and if
Yeah.
you're never able to pencil
Yeah.
it down, then it's still experimental, you know.
Because the reason why I don't want to put a label on it, because I don't want anyone to box me in. Like I don't want. I don't want them to say, "Oh, she's a rapper. Why is she making?" I mean, even if they say that, I don't really care. But I sure don't want. Like I just make anything that I feel like.
Yeah.
You know, tomorrow I can give them a Fuji jam. Like you know what I mean. Let me bring this closer.
Interesting. Okay, so I have this theory that you can tell a lot about a person's style based off the type of music that they listen to.
Like fashion stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
Do you think do you feel that for me?
Kind of, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you think so?
Yeah, I feel like the kind of music a person listens to really is like their identity. You know, there are many things that make up a person's identity. Their style, like their fashion style, their music, what they watch, like what you know, like all of the things that add up. Not identity, sorry, personality rather. That's what I meant. And so yeah, definitely it's 100% like directly linked, like your fashion and your music for sure. I definitely like. I mean, I don't want to. Yeah, I feel like also fashion. I feel is very subjective. Like I would never look at somebody and be like, okay, that's a bad fit because.
To
What,
you,
that's a bad fit to you.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's completely subjective, and I feel like it's just like music, just like any other thing. It's like a form of expression, and I feel like everybody should be allowed to express themselves like the way they see best. But yeah, I think definitely if I see somebody's outfit, I can definitely I'll be like, yeah, she likes Afrobeats. Like,
What do you think I listen to based off?
like Erica Badu.
I love her. Pisces sister.
Do you actually do?
I like Erica.
Oh my god! Okay,
Yeah, that's what I
period.
loved. Yeah,
You give me like grounded, like neo soul, like
I love
R&B.
R&B.
Yeah.
Ari Lennox.
Yeah.
Summer, Janae.
Yeah, that's what you
SZA.
give. That's what it gives. That's what it
Those are
gives.
my girls. But I do like the hip hop girls because I love hip hop. I love
Yeah.
rap in general. So
I feel like people who like I feel like you can always tell when people like you know certain style of music because when you're more open minded that means you listen to certain things and it's true. That's actually my own experience anyway. Like I've seen it. People that are more open minded listen to anything, and then people who aren't like obviously they box themselves in. Like you know people that think they're so woke by saying oh I only listen to 90s R&B or I only listen to 90s rap or like you're not as woke as you think you are. Trust me. Like the real woke people are the ones that listen to both 90s and today. Like you know what I mean. You don't need to be like oh music is so trash. Like keep up with the times. You know.
Who are your favorite artists?
SZA. Ken Carson, Sly Baby, Young Thug, Gunna. Obviously, I don't. Everybody who knows me knows I was obsessed with One Direction when I was younger, and that like I had a whole fan page and everything. And that I feel like also contributes to my music. Like, I feel like if you listen to my music, if you really listen to it, you hear like One Direction influences in there. What's it called? Who else? I feel like I'm forgetting people.
Any Nigerian ones?
I love Davido. I fucking love Davido. Davido. I love Davido. Who else is my favorite artist? This always annoys me because whenever people ask me this question and I get back home, and
You
I'm
not
like,
remember.
I should have shared this person. Ugh. But you know what? I think that's it for now.
Yeah.
Like SZA, Ken Carson, Sly Baby. Those are my like main guys. Yeah.
Cute. I want to talk about Love and Vex because first of all I love that title because I feel like that's like me.
Oh my god. No, same. Like as a Scorpio, like, and I feel like with Aries as well.
Yeah, because we're ruled by Mars. Yeah.
Because no Scorpios and Aries are so intense. Any relationship between Scorpio and Aries is always an intense one. It's never just like a small baby. It's intense.
Yeah.
But I feel everything like extreme. I don't feel things like just if I feel something, either I don't care.
You are me.
Like, it's either I don't care, I don't give a fuck, or I care a lot. Like there's no in between. And I feel like that's the title really embodies that extremity of my like my emotions. Like I'm a very extreme person. Like I'm very all in, like all or nothing, like type of bitch. So
can relate. On that EP, Hydrogen Bonds is actually my favorite. I literally tell everyone to listen to that song because let me tell you why I love Hydrogen Bonds. First of all, I don't know, I feel like it's like very like it's very romantic.
Yeah, it is.
And I'm a romantic.
Yeah. I feel like hydrogen. I think what you guys are like hydrogen bonds is that y'all stand hydrogen bonds.
And the thing is, it's crazy because I was actually talking to one of my friends and I was telling him how I was going to have a conversation with you, and he was saying how he loves hydrogen bonds as well. God. And we were talking about like how people are sleeping on hydrogen bonds. No. And he was even like, we were literally dissecting. We were talking about just like how you also brought in like the chemical parts into it, and just like how it's almost kind of like a celebration of like ideal love.
Yeah, literally.
And I feel like if you're a romantic person, I was like, yep.
Then the thing of people that love hydrogen bonds, like you guys, like make sure that I know that you love hydrogen bonds.
It, yeah.
Like the people that like all the other songs, like it's like okay, I like me, I like. But the people that love hydrogen bonds, like, I love hydrogen bonds. But hydrogen bonds was one of the. I wanted to tap into a different. Like I feel like there's a lot of power in vulnerability. I think people think one of the things that I've accepted as I've grown up is like vulnerability is not a weakness, it's a strength. And the society teaches you that being vulnerable is like, oh my god, she's vulnerable, and we're like, okay, you can't make me feel stupid about something that I chose to share with you, right. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I chose to share with you, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think I wanted to tap into like a different, you know, it's not everyday hard babe, I'm a bad bitch. Like, at the end of the day, we have emotions and we need to acknowledge them. And I'm a very emotional person. I'm extremely emotional, and it would be very inauthentic of me to make like music and not explore that because I'm very, very emotional. So yeah, and I'm also obviously like the way I present myself as this like but I'm I'm like a hopeless romantic. Like I'm a huge my favorite when growing up I only used to read romance novels. Like my favorite genre for a while of movies was like rom-coms, like back in the rom-com era. Like rom-coms obviously have fallen off, but like rom-coms were my thing. Like I'm a huge romantic, so I just wanted to make a song that, you know, it was just like a cute little love song. Like why not? So I was like, yeah, and I did like I'm a chemist. Like I did chemical engineering. Like let me just do chemistry bars. And
I love it. Even like one of my favorite parts is like, first of all, I feel like you really do have bars, and a lot of people, I don't know, it might go over their heads if they're not paying attention. But when you were like a web developer, give me a stack, and then instead they were like quack quack. I was like, yeah, like quack quack quack. I was like, yep. Yeah, so I really, really like that.
No, shout out to you for acknowledging hydrogen bonds. I mean, no, I feel like in due time, like there's no rush. There's no rush. Like everything is happening the way it's supposed to. Yeah. So every song will get what it deserves. Yeah,
for sure. So let's talk about Cool Story Bro, because I also really like Cool Story Bro, and obviously everyone loves the hook. The hook pretty much like TikTok.
That's actually not the hook, you know.
Really?
It's the bridge.
Oh, okay. So that's
the hook is we always chasing a high.
Oh. So what's the difference between a bridge and a hook?
So a hook is like the chorus. What do you call it? Chorus.
Right.
And a bridge is literally just the part right before the end of the song, right before the last hook. So obviously the hook happens like a couple times, 3 times in the song, and the bridge is right before the last hook. So
so the bridge is pretty much what's taken off now.
Yeah.
We call it. But okay. Yeah. So, what was going through your mind when you made Cool Story Bro?
Do you know, it's so fun. God is actually so interesting because Cool Story Bro is probably the one song that I spent the least time on. I did not think too much about the lyrics at all. Like every other song, like I really distracted, like hydrogen bombs. But the Cool Story Bro, I don't even remember writing it. Like I literally just recorded it and left it. And you know, it made me realize that that's why I said this thing is my actual purpose, and I feel like God is using me as a messenger, because it was after I wrote the song and I recorded it and I went back and listened to it and I was like, yo, wait, look, these lyrics are making sense. So like I was just saying whatever, and it makes such like crazy sense. Even the part where I was saying Bebe Kolibe, mainly I just put it because I wanted to infuse like my Africanness and my Yorubanness in my style of music.
Yeah.
And things are like, if you listen to all the other songs, actually, there's something like I speak Pidgin or Yoruba in at least 4 out of 5 of those songs on that EP. So it's not just Cool Story.
Yeah.
It was all of them.
That is true, actually.
Yeah. Like all of them. Like in Hydrogen Mode, I was like, more
yeah.
So yeah, it wasn't, but so yeah, in that Cool Story Bro, I just wanted to add a proper like Yoruba verse in there. And so I was like, hey, you know what am I going to put in here? And I added that Bebe Kolibe. It's something that it's a game, right? And it's like a folklore, like old folklore, like chant, basically. And my mom would sing to me a lot when I was younger. So I was like, why not sing it to the world? Like, so I was like, yeah, let me just add that part there. And then like after dropping it and then seeing like the interpretations of it, and it's so interesting. Like the way I see my music as a body of like literature that will be analyzed for years to come, kind of thing. Like how we used to analyze poetry in the English literature. Like that's like how I see my music, and it's always, the thing about poetry is open to multiple interpretations. So the people's interpretation of like that Bebe Kolibe part really just showed me that God is actually using me as a messenger, because one guy was like, that. Because if you think about the context of the song, right? I was talking about, like obviously life will get better, blah blah blah, and then somebody that interpreted the Bebe Kolibe part as me saying that, okay, like, because obviously it literally translates to, Bebe Kolibe, jump, you can't jump. My mother cannot jump, my father cannot jump, only me that can jump. Yeah. And the person that I interpreted it as like, I'm saying that, you know, your mom can't do it for you, your dad can't do it for you, it's only you that can do it for yourself.
I kind of got that as well.
Yeah, and I was like, you know what, that's what I meant. I was like, yeah, that's exactly what I meant. And yeah, like it actually makes sense in the context of the song, and like I was like, yeah. But Cool Story Bro, shout out to Cool Story Bro, man. I did not know it was gonna take off like this. But thank God it did, because just shows that like it's good to believe in yourself. Because I didn't play that song for anybody before it dropped. Oh wow! No, I just dropped it, like, and I'm so glad I did that. And I'm never gonna send people my music again ever. Like I'm glad that I made that decision. Yeah. Because like it's paying off clearly. So.
Yeah, no, definitely. And you're just trusting yourself and going with the flow and being detached as well. Exactly. You're detached from the outcome, and I think that's such a key takeaway from anyone that's listening to this conversation. I feel like you've touched on that at like different points in this
Wait, is it evident that I'm detached, like from the outside world?
No, not even from the outside world, but I think
like from your perspective, like
I think
just asking, like
I don't even know if I think you're a free spirit. Yeah. But I think regarding your music in general, I feel like you're detached from the outcome. You can tell it's very authentic, because also it's like we live in a time where like nothing's really organic anymore. 100%. Everything's very much like heavily produced, heavily marketed, or like someone is putting strings behind the scenes to make sure this is what's being pushed. But I feel like with you, I don't really see you chasing those accolades. It's almost like you're chasing a personal vibe. So that's what I mean when I say detached from the outcome, because it's not like you're like, oh my god, I have to be top. And I'm
glad that is obvious, because like that's really I really do not care about like you know, like the stats, the like obviously it's very nice, don't get me wrong, but like it's so damaging as an artist to attach to those things, you know. Focus on the inner stuff and the personal stuff, and the rest to come.
So with Cool Story Bro, obviously, like, you know, taking off on TikTok, and like people are just loving it on other platforms as well. There's been a lot of criticism as well on blogs. On blogs. Yes. How have you dealt with that? I know we touched on this earlier on, but generally speaking, when you first saw your video on was it? I'm not even gonna name the blog. Yeah. But when you first saw your video on that blog, So
what
did you think?
I just thought it was really funny. I just thought it was like, honestly, like I just thought it was really funny that they reposted me, and I was like, okay, yeah, that means the song's gonna blow because more press. Like that's all I just thought about. Like, and I was just like, and also the blog that posted it, they didn't say anything bad about me. I mean, obviously they're doing what blogs do, messy stuff by trying to instigate people to talk shit. But the actual blog themselves didn't say anything. Like in the caption, they were like, "Make we support our own," or something like that. So I was like, yeah. So okay, I was like, thank you guys, like for pushing. Like at the end of the day, you're pushing my content. So thank you, like. But it wasn't really the blogs. At the point where the blog started posting it, it had already gone viral on Twitter. So like at that point it was like whatever. Like, but when it had started going viral on Twitter, I didn't really care either because it was already going viral on TikTok. So I was just like,
which one happened first?
I don't even remember. Wait, I think so. First I dropped. So yeah, so if it started going viral on. So I first dropped a video with me and my mom. And that was the first ever Cool Story Bros song video I dropped.
Yeah.
And it got a really good reception. That was when it was still pretty contained, like within my followers and people that know me. Then I dropped a second video where I was wearing the cover art outfit and I was in the garage, and that was like my TikTok account basically. Like I've had a TikTok for years. And they don't push my content, like they don't push it on the For You page or anything because it's an old account. Like they push newer accounts. My account is old as fuck, so they don't push my content. That's why like my if you check my old videos, like they never really used to gain traction or anything. So when I posted that video, the second video in the garage, gradually every day, like it was increasing by the thousands every day. I'm like, okay, cool, but it was still contained. Some people, maybe a few people were like, what the hell is this? This is ass. But like, most people were still loving it. Then one day on TikTok, it started going up a bit more. Just a slightly bit more.
Yeah.
And then on Twitter, then I remember someone that commented, post it on Twitter. The person was trying to be messy. The person was like,
okay, that's just unnecessary. I was like,
it's already posted. Like, so then it was already posted on Twitter for like 2 days. It got like my still within my community of people. Then, just randomly, after 2 days, just took off. I don't know who it was, but somebody came on my page and just took off. And then every other tweet I'll see, this is hard as fuck. This is so ass. This is so hard. Who are her friends? Her friends tell her that she should stop. Like it was just like it's like you can't really honestly this life don't listen to what anybody says though, because if I actually was somebody that listened to what people said, I wouldn't know what to take from those. It was literally split in the middle, like literally half hate, half love. Like it was like love and vex. It was an amazing like introduction to my EP, because it was like you cannot have love without vex.
Yeah.
Like, you can't have one without the other. So it was like literally love and vex. I was love. So when I clocked that, it was a symbol of my EP essentially. I was like, you know what, this is a good sign. And after that, like I said earlier, after the first like 100 people, I just muted it and I left it, and I was like, I don't give a fuck about these people. Also, like I don't value anybody's, like I value people's opinion, like people I care about, but like when it comes to my own life, I set the standard of my own life. I don't owe anybody anything. I don't owe anybody any explanation for anything. And if I'm not harming you, why do you feel the need to not only give me your opinion, but feel like I should act on it? Like I don't care about what you have to say, one. Two, looking at your life, like no offense, but if you go on every one of their pages, like it's not like I look at your clothes and I'm like, I want to dress like you, or if I look at your whatever you have going on, I want to be like you. Like I don't want to be like you. You don't inspire me.
Yeah.
So why do you think I would take your advice? Like you know what I mean? So it was very audacious. Like I just find people so bold to be coming to me when you don't even hold a candle, like a flame next to me. What's the appropriate word? Like you know what I mean? I'm just like, who do y'all think you are? Like I was like, who do you guys think you are? And I hate feeling like I have to explain myself, because I really don't have to explain myself to anybody. So I didn't. Right. But I was just like, you guys need to just shut up. And that was that. But I didn't internalize anything. I didn't really care. But
do your parents listen to your music?
My dad is always saying that, he's always like, you're hiding your music. But that I actually genuinely was hiding it, because that was when I was like on my profanity, like just saying all sorts of things, like with no filter, no censorship, nothing. I mean, obviously, like I'll still like say whatever I need to say, but like I feel like now, like I'm a lot more like censored now. So back then, yes, I was hiding it, but I wasn't really hiding it. Like he could have listened to it if he wanted to.
Yeah.
Because anyway, he's not gonna beat me. Do you get what I mean? So, but they listen to my music. Like they really like Goofy. Every time they were singing, they'll be singing "Wish Me Bad, I Wish You Had." Also, they don't know my stage name, so they call me Whitey by the Action. Like Whitey by the Action.
What about extended family? Are they supportive as well? Do they know?
But if you look at my Instagram, all my cousins were at my last show, like the last performance I did. Yeah, like literally it was a picture of just me and my cousins on like one of the pictures. Where's my phone? I don't even know where my phone is. But yeah.
Oh wow, it's almost
time's up.
Okay, I'll wrap it up soon. Hi. Sorry, we're just wrapping up, yeah.
Okay. How many questions do you have?
Okay. Okay, well, let's just actually.
Oh, you wanted to ask more?
Yeah, but more? It's okay. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna ask you 2 more questions and then we'll wrap up. Okay. I want to talk about just like.
But yeah, listen to my music. Yeah.
Oh yeah, they do listen to music.
Should I wrap it up? Yeah.
I want to talk about female rap, and obviously with this phenomenon, we've seen a lot more female rappers like come out within like the past 6 years in comparison to like before. And what I love about this new phenomenon is just there's a lane for everyone. Yeah. We have different fan bases as well. Yeah. There's like something out there for everyone because it's like you don't even have to be like you can like Tay, you're like Baby Tay, and then you can like Nicki, and then you can like Flo Milli. So I really do like that. But I want to kind of like parallel that to like the Lagos scene as well, because there's so many, well not so many, but there are like a lot of girls that rap as well, and you're friends with them as well. So how does it feel to be among like such?
It's amazing. Honestly, like I realize each day as each day goes by that we're actually, I didn't deep it before, but we're actually like building something here. We're actually creating like something that's never been done before, and it's such an honor to be part of like a group of talented girls that are doing the same thing. And I always say that if I did not have this community, I don't even know if I'd been able to do it. Like I'm confident in myself, but knowing that there's other people that are doing it as well is reassuring. And it's really nice, you know, like a lot of people obviously, especially even on like in the mainstream female rap game, a lot of people expect them to like compete with each other or like whatever the case may be. But like generally I want to see everybody win. Me, like, you know, I want all of us to win. I want all of us to come up together, you know what I mean? Like, because it's amazing, like we started this thing together essentially, so like,
and you can grow together as well.
Together, like,
and also as you evolve, because I watch a lot of interviews with like, you know, other rappers, and especially like female rappers, they always say that nobody else understands what they go through in the industry except the other female
exactly.
So it's good that you kind of like have someone to just speak to.
Literally, like we only know there's so many experiences that only like I don't like Lola or like Breezy or someone would know, understand, and like me personally, like if I don't ask or Dila, like I'm always asking Dila, how do you do this PO? How do you, like, you know what I mean? Like I can't ask my friend who works at the bank to how do I do this thing? Like my lyrics are not coming up. Like I'm always like literally Dila, I'm always disturbing her. I'm always like Dila, because Dila has been doing this for a minute. So she's the person, she helped me when I was dropping Stage Mode as well. She helped me with the distribution, everything. Like, so I'm like, Dila, how do I do this P? Like, how do I do, like, literally I can't imagine doing this thing without them. So like, yeah, like honestly it's all like, honestly it's amazing to see that we're all thriving, and like it's great. It's an honor to be a part of it. That's just how I feel. Like, that's just what it, honestly that's what it is.
I want to end this episode. Well, I always ask my guest what their ikigai is, and essentially it is inspired by my logo up there. You can see like a Venn diagram with 4 different circles.
Okay.
And the whole
oh my god.
The whole idea behind this is that,
wait, is it 4 circles or 3?
There are 4, so you can see like one on the top. It's not.
Where's the 4th one?
At the top, it's like a dark orange.
Oh, okay. I see.
So the whole idea is that there are 4 questions in the Venn diagram, and you fulfilling the different parts of those questions means you have like a complete life.
Yeah.
And it's inspired by the Japanese idea.
Yeah.
So the 4 questions are: what do you love?
What do I love? I love to help people. I love to inspire people, and I love to always like I love to relate with people. That's actually what I love. Yeah,
What do you think you're good at?
I'm good at everything I put my mind to.
Yeah. What can you be paid for?
um, I can be paid for the work of my hands and my mind.
Mm.
Yeah.
I like that.
Thank you.
What do you think the world needs?
Man, kindness and more genuine people, people that are real. Like, I just feel like there's so much hostility. Like, even when I was getting dragged on Twitter, I was just thinking to myself, it's not even about. It's not. It wasn't about me. Like I said, you know how I said like my life. I'm observing.
Yeah.
So it wasn't even. I wasn't hurt. Like, oh my god, I'm hurt. I was just thinking like, why do you guys have so much hate in your heart? Like,
Yeah.
why do you feel so strongly about someone who does not know you or you don't know them, but you have so much hate? Like, don't you think that life would be so much better if you just loved? Like, why do you just have so much hate in your heart? Like, you know what I mean? And yeah, I just feel like the world just needs more love. Like people just need to love on each other and tell people that you love them. What's the point of hiding it?
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly. It's free. Just
Yeah.
give it all out. Well, that has been it. I'm so happy I got to speak to YT. I thoroughly
this has
enjoyed.
been a great convo.
Oh, no. Did you enjoy it?
I really did.
I'm so happy. I did as well. Like, it's a shame we have to wrap up now, but I know the episode is already long.
I'm sorry for being late, man.
No, it's okay because it's we don't even want to make it like too long. I know it's already
yeah.
going to be quite long.
Yeah.
But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy as much as we enjoyed recording. I love you.
Exclusive. Because I kind of like this is probably going to be my last. I've done a lot of interviews. Like I think I'm ready to enter my mysterious era.
Oh my god!
like now that there's more people watching.
I told you guys I had to lock her.
Okay, don't hold me to that. But like I'll come on this podcast again if you have me.
Yes.
But like I think I'm done with interviews for now.
Oh,
like.
wow. Okay, well, I am honored to be the last for now. I love you guys, and I'll see you in my next one.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you so much.
That was so nice.
No, honestly.